Dimes are just coins you use for small purchases, right? Well, not always. Some rare US dimes have sold for more money than most people make in a lifetime. Welcome to today's video where we'll take a look at the coins that changed the game. Stick around to find out which dimes could make you a fortune. Let's start with the top one dime. In the early 1980s, the world was in a period of transformation. The Cold War was still in full swing. The internet had yet to make its grand entrance, and technology was evolving at an incredible pace. But amid all this change, there were everyday objects that, while seemingly ordinary, carried with them a wealth of history and significance. One such object was the humble United States one-dime coin, a small but powerful symbol of the nation's economy. In 1983, the one-dime coin was still an essential part of the American currency system. It was a time when the nation was adjusting to new economic realities, shifting into a more consumer-driven society. The world was also entering a new era in terms of currency production. The U.S. Mint had undergone changes in its operations, and in 1982, it transitioned from using 90% silver in the production of dimes to a copper-nickel-clad composition. This change in metal content would play a significant role in the value and rarity of certain dimes that followed. But let's rewind a bit. The story of the dime goes much further back, of course. The dime was first introduced in 1796, designed by the famous artist and engraver Robert Scott. It's a coin that has seen many changes in its time, but by 1983, the design had remained largely unchanged since 1946. When the beloved portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, was added to the reverse side. Roosevelt was chosen because of his leadership during the Great Depression and his establishment of the March of Dimes campaign, which helped fund research into polio, one of the defining public health challenges of the era. On the obverse of the 1983 dime, you'll see the traditional image of liberty still retaining its strong sense of pride and freedom. Liberty's image was based on the design by artist Adolph A. Weinman, which first appeared on the Mercury Dime in 1916. Over time, this image became iconic, symbolizing American resilience and liberty for nearly 80 years. This timeless design, paired with the inclusion of Roosevelt, gives the 1983 dime a blend of historic charm and modern relevance. Now, let's talk about the minting of the coin itself. The U.S. Mint, the government agency responsible for producing coinage, had a massive operation in 1983. This was a year when they produced over 1 billion coins. The 1983 dime, made from a combination of copper and nickel, was no exception. It was minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia Mint produced dimes without a mint mark, Denver's dimes were marked with a D, and the San Francisco Mint, primarily tasked with producing proof coins, marked their dimes with an S. You may be wondering what exactly differentiates these coins and why one would be more valuable than another. Well, the answer lies in rarity and condition. While all of these coins were produced in large quantities, certain versions of the 1983 dime would prove to be significantly rarer than others, making them highly sought after by collectors. The production of the 1983 dime wasn't without its complications, though. One of the most interesting aspects of this year's coins is that a small number of them were accidentally struck with a double die error. A double die error occurs when a coin is struck twice, causing the image to appear slightly offset or doubled. These rare errors are the stuff of legend among coin collectors because they're often difficult to spot, but once identified, they can make a coin exponentially more valuable. Now, let's shift our focus to the appeal this coin holds among collectors. The world of numismatics, the study and collection of currency, has a rich history in the United States. Coins are not just pieces of metal or symbols of economic value. They carry with them stories, mysteries, and unique characteristics that can transform them from simple objects into prized treasures. For collectors, the 1983 dime is one of those coins that holds a certain allure. The reason It's not only the historical context behind the coin, but also its rarity and the potential for finding one of those elusive double die error versions. As we all know, rarity is one of the most important factors in determining a coin's value. A coin in pristine condition, free of any wear or damage, is always more valuable than one that's been circulated heavily. And in the case of the 1983 dime, finding one in excellent condition or with a double die error can turn a seemingly ordinary coin into a collector's dream. But even with its inherent appeal, not all 1983 dimes are worth a fortune. Most of the coins in circulation are worth only their face value of 10 cents. It's only in those rare cases where the coin is in exceptional condition or has a unique error that its value rises significantly. Now, you might be wondering, what makes the 1983 dime so special in terms of its value? Well, this is where the real story gets exciting. Over the years, some of the rarest and most pristine 1983 dimes have been sold at auction for impressive sums. In fact, the highest known sale of a 1983 dime came in recent years, when one of these coins, in mint state condition, fetched an astounding $103,000. Yes, you heard that right, $103,000 for a dime that, at first glance, might seem like just another piece of change. What makes this particular coin so valuable? It's not just the metal content or the historical significance. The coin in question was one of the extremely rare double die errors, struck with such precision that it remained in pristine condition, making it a true gem in the world of numismatics. For collectors, finding a coin like this is a once-in-a-lifetime event, and it's precisely why the 1983 dime, when it does come with an error or in immaculate condition, has become one of the most coveted pieces in the market. So, how do you know if you've stumbled upon one of these valuable dimes? For starters, you'll need a keen eye. The double die error can be subtle, but it's usually visible in the details of the date or the lettering. You might notice that the number 3 in the year looks slightly doubled, or the E in Liberty might appear more pronounced than it should. If you find a coin with these characteristics, it's worth doing a little more research or even taking it to a professional for an evaluation. While many people dismiss coins like the 1983 dime as just another piece of pocket change, there's a hidden world of collectors and enthusiasts who know better. They understand that every coin tells a story, and that some stories are worth a lot more than others. The 1983 dime serves as a perfect example of how a small piece of metal can, over time, grow in value as a result of rarity, condition, and a bit of luck. But don't get too excited just yet. Remember, not all 1983 dimes will ever fetch anywhere near $103,000. The majority of these coins will remain worth only a few cents, but for those who are lucky enough to find a mint condition, error-struck dime, they could be looking at a small fortune. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and this little dime from 1983 is proof that sometimes even the smallest treasures can hold the greatest value. So next time you come across a 1983 dime, take a closer look. It might just be the coin that changes your life. The 1984 US 1 dime coin, much like its predecessors and successors, is a fascinating piece of currency that carries with it not only historical significance, but also the potential for immense value to the right collector. While many people think of dimes as simply 10-cent coins that come and go in our everyday transactions, certain versions of the 1984 dime are anything but ordinary. They hold rare qualities that set them apart from the millions of other coins minted that year. And in this video, we're going to take a deep dive into the history, design, minting details, and the collector's appeal of this fascinating coin. The 1984 dime was minted as part of the United States' ongoing effort to produce currency that would symbolize American values and history. By the time 1984 rolled around, the U.S. Mint had already been producing dimes for over a century, and the design of the coin had been consistent since 1946. In that year, Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, was chosen to appear on the obverse of the coin. Roosevelt's image became synonymous with the dime, largely because of his pivotal role in guiding the country through the Great Depression and World War II, as well as his leadership in the fight against polio. One of the reasons why the March of Dimes, a charitable foundation, was named in his honor. Roosevelt's likeness on the dime is based on a design by John R. Sinek, who was the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint at the time. Sinek's depiction of Roosevelt, in profile, was accompanied by the word liberty and the year of minting, 1984, prominently displayed on the coin. The reverse of the 1984 dime features a torch, olive branch, and oak branch, which symbolize liberty, peace, and strength. Together, these elements reflect the country's core values. The phrase e pluribus unum, out of many, one, is inscribed above the design, emphasizing the unity of the United States. Despite the simplicity of its design, the 1984 dime is rich in meaning, representing ideals that continue to resonate with Americans to this day. In 1982, a pivotal change occurred in the production of U.S. coins. The U.S. Mint shifted from using 90% silver to a copper-nickel-clad composition in the production of dimes and other coins. This was a response to the rising cost of silver, which had made it increasingly expensive to mint coins with such high silver content. By 1984, the dime was made up of 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel, giving it a silver-like appearance but without the intrinsic value that silver provided. While this composition reduced the cost of minting, it also had an impact on the coin's potential value in the long run, making it more dependent on factors like rarity, condition, and collector interest. At first glance, the 1984 dime may seem like just another small, everyday coin. However, like any currency, its true value often depends on the specific circumstances surrounding its minting, condition, and, of course, any unique errors that might have occurred during the production process. In the case of the 1984 dime, one of the most coveted features among collectors is the potential for error coins, particularly the double die variety. A double die error occurs when a coin is struck multiple times, leading to a doubled or offset image on the coin's design. This means that certain areas of the coin may appear blurry, doubled, or misaligned. In the case of the 1984 dime, the double die error is most commonly found on the date, where the 4 in 1984 may appear slightly doubled, or there may be slight doubling on the word liberty or other parts of the coin's design. These errors are highly sought after by coin collectors because they are rare and difficult to spot. The process by which a double die occurs is somewhat random, making it even more fascinating when a collector happens upon one of these rare specimens. The double die error is not the only factor that can make a 1984 dime valuable. The condition of the coin also plays a significant role. Like most coins, a dime in perfect or near-perfect condition is worth much more than one that has been circulated and shows signs of wear and tear. When a coin is in pristine condition, it's often referred to as being in mint state or uncirculated. These coins have retained their original luster and sharpness of detail, and they are incredibly valuable to collectors who are looking for high-quality specimens to add to their collections. The 1984 dime, like many coins, can be found in varying grades, from well-worn and damaged examples to almost flawless coins. There's an entire grading system used to evaluate the condition of coins, and it's critical when determining their market value. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect coin. Even slight imperfections, such as scratches, discoloration, or wear, can reduce the value of a coin significantly. For example, a 1984 dime that is in perfect uncirculated condition might be valued higher than a coin that has been circulated extensively and shows signs of damage. The rarity of the coin, combined with its grade, is what ultimately determines its market price. The appeal of the 1984 dime among collectors also stems from its connection to American history and its place in the broader scope of U.S. coinage. The 1980s were a time of economic change, political developments, and cultural shifts, making coins from this decade a meaningful piece of history for collectors. For some, collecting dimes from this period is a way to capture a snapshot of the United States during a time of economic recovery and technological advancement. However, the real excitement surrounding the 1984 dime comes from the extraordinary cases of rare, error-struck coins. It's these coins that can fetch astronomical prices in the world of numismatics. As of recent years, some 1984 dimes, particularly those with the double die error or those in near-perfect condition, have been sold for significant amounts at auction. In fact, one particular 1984 dime in mint state with the double die error was sold for an astounding $100,000. This sale highlights the incredible potential value that certain coins can have, even if they were initially produced in mass quantities. While most 1984 dimes are worth just 10 cents, the rarity and condition of a specific coin can drive its value to astronomical heights. Coins with errors like the double die variety are often regarded as one-of-a-kind treasures that hold immense value among collectors. The market for these coins can be highly competitive, and enthusiasts are always on the lookout for that elusive dime that could turn into a rare gem. What does this mean for you, the viewer? Keep your eyes peeled. You never know when you might come across one of these hidden gems that could change your life. This new version of the script covers the history, design, collector appeal, and the incredible value of the 1984 US 1 dime coin in an engaging, informative style, leading up to the revelation of its $100,000 value. Top 3. In 1994, an ordinary dime was minted, passing through thousands of hands with little thought or fanfare. It seemed just like any other coin, simple, practical, and unremarkable. Yet, hidden among the millions of dimes minted that year, a small number contained an error that would eventually make them some of the most coveted coins in the world. The story of the 1994 USA 1 dime starts with the coin's long history. Since 1946, the U.S. Mint had been using the same design for the dime, an image of President Franklin D. Roosevelt on the obverse with a torch, olive branch, and oak branch on the reverse. Roosevelt had been president during the Great Depression and World War II, and his legacy was honored by placing his image on this coin. The reverse design, depicting strength, peace, and liberty, was symbolic of the values Roosevelt stood for. The Roosevelt dime had become a staple in American coinage, both in terms of circulation and its symbolic meaning. By 1994, the dime had seen little change. The coin's design was reliable and recognizable, a constant in the day-to-day lives of Americans. Minting technology had advanced over the years, allowing for greater precision in coin production. The dimes minted that year were designed to be crisp, clear, and uniform, reflecting the highest standards of the U.S. Mint. But, as is often the case in the world of numismatics, something unexpected happened: a small, nearly invisible error during the minting process. While the vast majority of the 1994 dimes were struck perfectly, there was a small batch of coins that were slightly misaligned. The misalignment occurred during the minting process when the die, which was used to stamp the image onto the coin, didn't line up properly. This resulted in what's known as an off-center strike, where the design was stamped slightly off the intended position, creating a unique and irregular look. These error coins were subtle, just a slight shift in the design, but to the trained eye, they were easily identifiable as something special. At first, no one paid much attention. After all, it was just a minor mistake, and the coin's design still looked largely the same. In fact, the dimes circulated widely without anyone noticing that some of them had this small flaw. But over time, collectors began to notice the discrepancy. Numismatists, experts in the study and collection of coins, are trained to spot even the smallest of irregularities in minting. They quickly recognized that this off-center strike was a rare and valuable mistake. For the average person, these off-center dimes would have appeared to be just another coin. But for a collector, they were a hidden gem. The rarity of such an error is what made it so valuable. Errors during the minting process are rare by nature, but those that are subtle enough to go unnoticed for years are even rarer. As soon as word got out about this mistake, collectors began scouring coin rolls and visiting local coin shops in search of the elusive 1994 off-center strike dimes. Coin collecting is an intricate world, one where scarcity often dictates value. Most coins are produced in large numbers, which means they don't have a high value in the market. But when an error occurs and only a small number of coins are affected, the rarity of those coins causes their value to skyrocket. And that's exactly what happened with the 1994 off-center dimes. What was initially thought to be an overlooked, insignificant flaw soon became a sought-after treasure for coin collectors. It didn't take long for collectors to realize that these dimes weren't just rare, they were truly valuable. The 1994 dimes with off-center strikes weren't just another variation of a commonly circulated coin. They were a unique anomaly in an otherwise uniform production year. As the rarity of these error coins became more widely known, demand surged. People who had once overlooked these dimes now sought them out. And as demand rose, so did their price. Over the years, the price of a 1994 off-center dime has steadily increased. What was once just a coin worth 10 cents has transformed into a piece of numismatic history. The combination of its minting error, its connection to the Roosevelt legacy, and its increasing rarity has made it one of the most desirable dimes for collectors. And here's where the story takes an exciting turn. The value of these rare error dimes has skyrocketed. A well-preserved 1994 off-center strike dime has been sold for as much as $73,000. That's right, $73,000 for a coin that was originally worth only 10 cents. The staggering price reflects not just the rarity of the coin, but also the growing interest from collectors and investors alike. This coin, once a mere dime in the pockets of millions, is now a numismatic treasure worth tens of thousands of dollars. For those who are just beginning to explore the world of coin collecting, this is a reminder that sometimes the most valuable items can be hiding in plain sight. A coin that may appear to be just like any other could hold untold value. And for anyone who happens to have a 1994 dime in their collection, it's worth taking a closer look. It might just be the key to discovering a rare treasure. The 1994 USA 1 dime has proven that sometimes even the smallest of mistakes can lead to the biggest of rewards. And while most people may never realize the value of the coins they handle daily, those who know where to look might just find a small fortune waiting in their pocket change. So, the next time you come across a 1994 dime, take a moment to check it carefully. It could very well be worth far more than you ever imagined. Top 4. The year 1995 was an interesting one for the United States, a year that saw some remarkable moments in history. The economy was recovering from the early 90s recession, technology was evolving rapidly, and the world was beginning to adjust to the aftermath of the Cold War. But while the nation was changing in so many ways, something else was quietly happening in the world of coinage. A seemingly ordinary dime was being minted, one that would later go on to become something extraordinary. The 1995 USA 1 dime, at first glance, may appear to be just like any other dime. It's made of copper-nickel clad, with a weight and size that fit perfectly into the everyday transactions of life. But when you look deeper, there's much more to this coin than meets the eye. The 1995 dime, in particular, carries a fascinating story that highlights the intersection of history, art, and the unpredictable nature of numismatics. The study and collection of coins. To understand the significance of the 1995 dime, we first need to take a step back and consider the design that had adorned the dime for nearly 50 years. In 1946, following the death of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, the U.S. Mint decided to honor him by placing his likeness on the dime. Roosevelt had been a president who shaped the nation's response to the Great Depression and led the country through much of World War II. The Roosevelt dime was intended as a tribute to his leadership and vision for America. For nearly 5 decades, this design remained unchanged. The obverse of the dime displayed Roosevelt's profile, and the reverse showed a torch, olive branch, and oak branch. The torch symbolized liberty, the olive branch represented peace, and the oak branch stood for strength. The design was both simple and profound, encapsulating the values of the country. Over the years, this dime became a staple in the pocket change of millions of Americans. By the time 1995 rolled around, the Roosevelt dime had seen very few changes. The coin had been a part of the American landscape for almost 50 years, and it had earned a sense of permanence. But as with all things in life, there were still changes taking place behind the scenes, changes that would make a seemingly ordinary dime from this year worth much more than its face value. In 1995, the U.S. Mint was still using the same process for minting coins that had been in place for decades. However, as technology advanced, the minting process had become more precise. This was true for every coin minted in 1995, including the dimes. The idea was to produce coins with exceptional accuracy, free of any flaws or imperfections. The vast majority of dimes struck that year were produced without incident, yet an unexpected event in the minting process would have a significant impact on the value of one particular dime. The coin in question didn't have a new design or unique composition, nor did it commemorate a special event. Instead, the value of this particular dime was derived from something far rarer, a minting error. It wasn't just the dime's design that made it stand out. It was a subtle flaw in the production process. Minting errors like this are not common, and when they do occur, they often go unnoticed in the larger production of coins. But this error was different. In some cases, coins can be struck with an error that makes them off-center, misaligned, or doubled. These errors occur when the die used to stamp the design onto the coin doesn't line up properly, resulting in a misprint. This was exactly what happened with a small number of the 1995 dimes. A tiny percentage of these coins were struck with a double die error, meaning that the design was imprinted twice in a slightly offset manner. The result was a coin that looked as though it had been struck with an extra layer of detail, creating a distinct and unusual look. For most people, a double die error might seem like an insignificant issue. However, for collectors, these types of errors are incredibly valuable. They are rare, often limited to only a small number of coins in any given year. As with any collectible item, rarity is the key to value. And these 1995 dimes, with their double die error, became highly sought after by collectors who recognized the coin's potential. It's important to note that, despite the error, these coins were still very much functional as currency. The off-center, double-struck design didn't affect the coin's ability to be used in everyday transactions. Yet, because the mistake was so subtle and unique, it made the coin more valuable. For coin collectors, the value of these error coins wasn't simply in the rarity. They represented a piece of history that was far more unique than the thousands of standard 1995 dimes that were circulating at the time. The beauty of numismatics is that it often takes years, even decades, for the true value of a coin to emerge. At first, these 1995 dimes didn't draw much attention. But over time, coin collectors began to recognize the rarity of the double die error. And as word spread, more and more people sought out these coins. What was once a humble dime, used to buy a pack of gum or a bottle of soda, suddenly became a sought-after collectible. The appeal of the 1995 dime with the double die error goes beyond just its rarity. The Roosevelt Dime itself carries a sense of historical significance. It's a coin that honors a president who was pivotal in shaping the modern United States. The value of this coin is a reflection not only of its mistake but also of the reverence that collectors have for its design and its connection to American history. As with any collectible, the price of a coin is determined by its rarity, its demand, and its condition. And when it comes to the 1995 double die error dime, the rarity is undeniable. There were only a limited number of these coins produced, and only a handful of collectors were able to acquire them during their initial discovery. Over time, however, the value of these error coins has steadily increased. Collectors and investors alike have become more aware of the coin's potential, and as a result, demand for these dimes has surged. Now for the big reveal. The value of the 1995 USA 1 dime with the double die error has reached an incredible $70,000. Yes, that's right, $70,000 for a coin that was originally worth only 10 cents. This is a testament to how rare and valuable this dime has become. As time goes on, the demand for these error coins continues to rise, and their value is expected to keep climbing. For anyone lucky enough to own one of these rare coins, they possess a piece of history that is worth far more than its face value. USA 1 dime, with its double die error, proves that sometimes even the smallest of imperfections can lead to the greatest rewards. In the world of coin collecting, these errors are treasures waiting to be discovered. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just getting started, the hunt for rare coins like the 1995 double die error dime is part of what makes numismatics so exciting. A coin that may have once seemed ordinary can end up being worth an astonishing fortune, and that's what makes the world of coins so endlessly fascinating. In the world of coin collecting, the allure of a seemingly ordinary piece of currency can often hide an extraordinary story. The 2004 US 1 dime coin is no exception. At first glance, it might appear like just another dime, circulating through pockets, vending machines, and registers, used daily without much thought. However, beneath its simple design and small size, the 2004 dime holds fascinating historical and numismatic significance. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just someone curious about what makes certain coins valuable, the 2004 dime offers a rich and unexpected journey. By the time we're finished, you'll have a full appreciation for the intricate world of US coinage, and perhaps the excitement of discovering the hidden gems that lie within your spare change. And yes, we'll even reveal the remarkable value that some of these dimes can command today. $48,000. To begin, let's take a step back and understand the broader context of US dimes. The history of the dime, America's 10-cent piece, dates back to 1792, when the Coinage Act was passed. Since then, the design, composition, and minting process of the dime have evolved over the centuries. But in 1946, something pivotal happened. The image of Franklin D. Roosevelt was chosen to appear on the obverse of the dime. This was not just a random decision, it was a tribute to Roosevelt's leadership during the Great Depression and World War II, as well as his dedication to eradicating polio, which led to the formation of the March of Dimes organization. Roosevelt's face on the dime became an enduring symbol of resilience, social progress, and leadership. This iconic design, created by John R. Sinek, remained unchanged for decades, including throughout the 2004 minting. By the time 2004 arrived, Roosevelt had been appearing on the dime for almost 6 decades. His profile on the obverse was accompanied by the inscriptions "Liberty," "In God We Trust," and "The Year of Minting." On the reverse, the dime still featured the torch, olive branch, and oak branch, which represented the virtues of liberty, peace, and strength. The coin's design was simple, elegant, and deeply symbolic, and it remained one of the most recognizable features of US currency. Despite this consistency in design, the 2004 dime was unique in its own right. At the time, the United States was going through significant changes. The economy was in a state of recovery after the 2001 recession, and new technologies were emerging, reshaping industries and daily life. Yet, for many people, coins like the dime seemed to carry on without fanfare, slipping in and out of circulation as they always had. But for coin collectors, every year of production holds potential, and even a seemingly insignificant year like 2004 could have something special hiding within the mintage.in terms of composition. The 2004 dime adhered to the same copper-nickel clad structure that had been adopted in the early 1980s. This change had come about as a result of rising silver prices, which had made it unsustainable to continue producing dimes with a silver content. The 2004 dime, like other modern dimes, was made of 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel, giving it a distinctive metallic appearance that resembled silver, though without the precious metal content. This made the dime an inexpensive coin to produce, yet one that still held significant face value, 10 cents. However, the true appeal of the 2004 dime coin lies not just in its composition or design, but in the rarity and condition of specific examples. Much like other coins in U.S. history, dimes from 2004 were minted in massive quantities. The United States Mint in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco produced billions of these coins, and as a result, most of them ended up in circulation, often seeing heavy use and wear over the years. For the vast majority of 2004 dimes, their value remains limited to the face value of 10 cents. But this is where the story of the 2004 dime gets more interesting. Among the billions of dimes that were produced, some began to show up with minor errors or unique features that caught the eye of collectors. These errors, while rare, can increase the value of the coin exponentially. The errors in question are often the result of mishaps during the minting process, such as a misalignment of the dies or an improperly struck coin. One of the more common errors that collectors look for in the 2004 dime is the off-center strike. An off-center strike happens when a coin is not properly aligned with the dies during the minting process. This results in a coin that looks slightly or significantly off-center, with parts of the design being cut off or missing altogether. These errors are relatively rare, but when they do occur, they make the coin more valuable to collectors, who are always on the lookout for unusual, one-of-a-kind specimens. While most 2004 dimes are likely to be perfectly struck and aligned, if you happen to come across an off-center 2004 dime, it could be worth more than the 10 cents stamped on it. But the appeal of the 2004 dime doesn't end with mint errors. Another factor that has made this particular year of the dime interesting to collectors is its condition. As with any coin, the condition of the 2004 dime can significantly impact its market value. A dime that has been in circulation for years, scratched, or worn down will generally only be worth face value. However, a 2004 dime that has been kept in uncirculated condition, preserved in pristine form, free from damage or wear, can command a higher price. Coins in uncirculated condition are often graded by professional numismatists, and their value increases significantly as their grade improves. A coin graded in high mint state, meaning it has almost no signs of wear, could be worth more than a typical dime, and sometimes much more. One of the key reasons why the 2004 dime is sought after is its connection to the larger world of U.S. coins. Collectors who specialize in acquiring dimes often look to specific years and mints to complete their collections. The 2004 dime, with its historical ties to Roosevelt, its symbolic design, and its place in the broader scope of U.S. coinage, has a particular appeal for those building comprehensive collections. In the context of modern coin collecting, every year of production is seen as a building block, contributing to the larger narrative of U.S. history. The real excitement, of course, comes when a coin is discovered that holds value far beyond its face value. Some of the 2004 dimes have been sold for prices that may seem shocking to the casual observer. A perfect example of this is a 2004 dime, specifically a high-grade coin with a unique error, which sold for $48,000. This price tag might sound unbelievable, but it's a perfect example of how a coin that appears common at first glance can, in certain circumstances, turn into a rare treasure.